to the Closer Experience, our midweek experience at the Leadership Church. Closer is a place where believers can grow closer to God. At TLC, we believe that making a spiritual development enhances our relationship with God, and that is more than a Sunday experience. And our Closer community provides just that. And now, the Closer Experience.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Closer Experience. For the month of August, we are discussing relationships, and today we will be discussing marriage. We have a panel of millennials as well as us, Generation X, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right on in, guys.
Sounds good.
So we have Caroline Charity, her husband Rob Charity, my husband Kevin Bascom, and myself, Tamara Bascom. So Rob, Caroline, how did you meet?
It's a good question. So we met in Atlanta through some mutual friends. I just left Valdosta State University. I didn't make it there. I just decided that I wanted to come back home and be back in my element, back at home in Atlanta. And I just happened to meet her through some friends, and from there, it's the story.
It's history.
It's history.
All right, that's nice.
You
That is
want to
really
add
nice.
anything to that?
No.
Okay.
All right, well, that's cute. Well, we met on a previous job, pharmaceutical distribution company, actually. And he was already there, and I started there while I was in training. I was partnered with him. He was supposed to train me.
Supposed to. I'm so curious. Supposed to. Sound like you didn't turn.
Yeah, he was supposed to train me,
That's a
but
great start.
I pretty much already knew. So I ended up showing him a few things.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's how we met. So
Keep
what
it
attracted
spicy.
you? What attracted you to each other?
you gotta say something. Well, my wife is beautiful. I don't know if y'all see on the camera.
Yeah.
She's very beautiful. I'm very into her type of women. You know, shorter, thicker, the Atlanta-made women. We have very beautiful women down here, and she just happened to be,
Okay.
in the 1%, the
Okay.
top, the cream of the crop.
All right.
So I
Yeah.
like that.
Instant love.
indeed.
Instant love. I like that.
For me, we were so young at the time. We were just 19.
Oh
18,
wow,
19.
so
So I really didn't have a type. He was just always around, and then kind of grew.
She likes attention.
But then I really realized that he had a passion for, like, he was very passionate about our relationship before I even knew it was a relationship. Like, when we're just friends, he was very passionate about our friendship and, like, communicating and things of that sort. And I was raised around communication, so I was like, oh, he's serious, right? So that's kind of how we got started. And I was attracted to him ever since.
It took her a bit. I had to go to the military and get some muscles first.
Yeah.
And then I came back, and she was like, you went from friend to
so cute.
yeah.
So Mark 10 tells us, therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. So one of the most attractive things for me when I started getting to know Kevin was, like I said, he was training me. And you know how when you're in training, you just start kind of just telling your business. Like, nobody's really even asking,
Right.
but to keep it from being awkward, you just kind of start telling your business. So, he had 2 little daughters that he was taking care of. And that was just so sexy to me, because I hadn't even turned 30 yet. Actually, I was 29 and he was 30. So he would just be going on and on about his babies, and finally he showed me their little pictures and they were just adorable. And, that was just a lot to me, because one thing my mother always told me was, pay attention to the way a man handles his mother and his children.
Right.
You know, so that caught my attention, and it reminded me of my relationship with my own dad as well, you know. And at that time, I had no idea that we would even be sitting here, you know, because like I said, I was in training and we were just basically just shooting the breeze, you know. Yeah. So that was that.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are.
You didn't say anything about what attracted you. We're not gonna glance over there.
He's trying to
No, but it's a lot of things that attracted me to her. Like she said, we met, we was training. They sat her with me to train. And when she sat with me to train, I was like, wow, you know, like, who is this? You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure that out, you know? So yeah. And I just liked her independence, man. She was always just about her business. And I like the fact that she had her own little circle. She had her own little thing going on. You know, she had her own little friends. She wasn't hounding me all the time. Like, it was just a cool, I like that, you know? So yeah, I just liked all that about her. So that just drew me to her, like, off the top. And we just been rocking ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
All right. So that goes on to our next question now that we know how we all came to be. So you already answered the second one. You said you were 19. We were 29 and 30. So let's get on into the groove of it. Now, you all are millennial. Do you find it hard to be married as millennials?
And how long have y'all been married?
We've been married. It's gonna be our 9th year in September.
Whoa, awesome.
Yes, stop. I'm the dates person, so I remember dates. She just,
young though.
Yeah, you are young, but it sounds wild. We've been on this ride for 9 years, working on the 10th in 2025. We got married in September of 2015. We just.
Is it hard to be married as millennials? No.
I think the experience is just based off of who you are individually. I don't think it's a generation thing.
Right.
I know we like to tag things with generations.
Right.
But it's really just circumstances year by year.
Right.
Some years are hard, some years are easy, some years
that
fly
could
by.
Be any generation.
Yeah, any generation.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of got married unconventionally too, because we knew each other before the military, like when we were still in college. But like when we got married, I think you were in the military, and I was in
you were in the military
at
too.
that point too. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that was after I joined.
Yeah.
And so our marriage started off very unconventional compared to a lot of people's marriages because we were separated sometimes we were together. Right. So it was hard in its own way, but not really attached to being a millennial, more to just being attached to our career.
Correct.
Yeah. And one of her biggest reservations was the fact that we hadn't lived together. Like we hadn't experienced each other before.
Right.
We still were independent.
Yeah, we were independent. So when we had to bring everything together and we got a house in North Carolina together, that's when we really started to test the waters.
Right.
The apartment.
Oh, the apartment too. I feel like the apartment was like vacation though compared
I was like,
to.
Who am I living with?
I did the same thing. Don't go put it on me too. We were both trying to figure each other out.
Yeah.
Figure out the living styles, but like going forward, you know, it gets again. It's like a roller coaster. You have highs, you have lows. I don't think it's generational.
Absolutely.
If you flipped it to
I
Gen
agree.
X,
I agree. I agree 100% because, you know, like you said, life is going to life. Things are going to happen. Situations are going to come. You're going to have good times. You're going to have bad times. So it's not a generation type thing.
Right.
It's basically who you are as an individual and what you care about, you know, knowing that what you have is bigger than whatever that is, and knowing that God tells us that we are put together to be one and to support each other. Right. You know, he created us to be their helpers. You know, even though I know we take the wheel sometimes, but we were designed to help them. You know, he knew they needed help. There was no way he was just going to let them be out here living in this world alone.
Mhm.
That's true.
No way. So therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. All right. Good deal. So let me see. I think we want to go ahead and get into how would you describe your relationship? Like, what are your biggest strengths, and what are some things that can kind of trigger an argument?
You want to take the wheel first?
No, you got
I would describe our relationship. It's again, it's unique. It's not traditional in a sense where you know you both understood where you were coming from before you got married. We were just kind of getting hitched just because we thought we were like the right people for each other at the time, and we were like, yeah, let's try to make this work as best as possible.
Right.
And we were braving the elements between army, we were braving the elements between distance, different cultures, because she was brought up very different than I was.
Right.
I wasn't raised in church, and she was raised heavily in church.
Mhm.
So just blending those elements together, it was hard to navigate. It's
Right.
still hard to
Yeah.
navigate
Yeah.
because we would certain things she would expect is like, let's go be in a church, and when we're in that church, Wednesday Bible study, corporate calls, corporate prayers, and I had no idea that was a thing. I thought people just went to church on Sundays and
Right.
that was it.
Yeah.
They would read the Bible and that was it.
Right.
But it kind of opened my eyes to things that I needed, and that's another thing that attracted me to her, is because she knew more of a spiritual side than I did, and I was open to learn everything from her from that aspect. So especially with her mom going to church, I was trying to do my best to follow suit, to go to church and to learn to serve. And we're just now really getting into that portion where we're serving. But I'm starting to understand my role in this world because of what she grew up in.
Yeah.
It was a very, relationship based. She had a big family. Her family gets together, does family reunions. My family wasn't like that. So that's a way that we bump heads too, is, I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to contact people. I don't talk on the phone at all. Like, I don't even know I have a phone most of the time. And she'll be like, well, did you call your dad? I'm like, no, I haven't called him in 3 months. I don't know. And she's like, well, that's irresponsible. You should call him more often. So try to make the effort to call him or text him more.
Yeah.
And she's glaring at me. I can tell. Because she's like, you don't do it enough.
Yeah.
I still have to remind you.
And see, that goes right back to what we really just said, because even though you guys are younger than us, that's a lot like our dynamic. Like, my family is huge, and we're always getting together, gatherings, that type of thing. I grew up fully in the church. Like, you better not even ask to go nowhere, do nothing, even look out the window if you don't get up and go to church. So, that was my upbringing. And Kevin and I, we have been married 9 years. Well, this September will be 9 years for us as well.
Wow.
September
September?
15th.
28th for us.
Oh,
Okay, the 20th for us.
Oh, wow.
So we were getting hitched a week apart from each other.
Wait, you said the 20th? You said
September 20th.
Okay.
2015.
2015.
Right.
Okay.
Same year,
Wow.
same month.
Yeah.
8 days.
8 days different. Yeah. So our stories are a lot alike. However, we did, of course, do things the non-traditional way as well. Of course, we had Zoe prior to our marriage. So, in all actuality, we've been together 19 years, but 9 in holy matrimony, So, but yeah, and I'll never forget how she used to come home from school and be like, "Mommy, how come your last name don't match me?" And I would be like, "Ask your daddy."
And she did.
So yeah, but I think those differences are a lot for us as well, because I know a lot of the things that I do or say, or even with raising our child, like, I'm that mama, like,
Yeah.
You know, and he's just so
cool.
I'm like, ugh. And you know, of course, that drives me crazy. But I have to. I'm learning to accept his position and how he parents and his parenting skills, and even how he navigates through our family.
Right.
You know, because it used to kind of bother me when he wouldn't want to do all this family stuff, you know, because I'm so family oriented. So it was like kind of a bothersome, but I understand now.
That's a lot
like,
to pick up.
Yeah, like Rob said, you grow up differently. You were raised differently. So, you know, you're just gonna have different perspectives on that type of thing. But that doesn't mean that you don't care,
Right.
you know. And
Yeah.
so that was something that I had to finally come to grips with and understand.
And it's cool watching her family too, because like she said, she got a huge family. It's like 1 million of them, right? Like real talk. And it's all love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all love. And with my family, it's like this person can't wait to see this person
Right.
to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like it's on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's on in my family like that.
Yeah,
they can't wait to see each other just to fight.
It's the same.
So it's like,
maybe not to the point where they want to fight,
yeah,
but they don't.
It's on.
We have people that want to not be next to each other.
Yeah,
People who, But
yeah.
for her family, like you said, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And they just, I feel like every reunion we get to meet somebody.
Somebody.
Yeah. Somebody new.
So it's very interesting to see the dynamic.
Right.
But I've been encouraged by that just by going to her family reunions to try to do more with my family and try to invite them to do things more.
Yeah.
Because they're the same way as me. My mom, we try to invite her someplace and she'll make every excuse in the world. And like, I don't,
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to go somewhere. She just want to be in her own element.
Right.
Yeah.
But now she's starting to open up more.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
Say she's doing a lot.
that's what I was you gotta get to.
Yeah.
You gotta
Okay.
tell the story first.
You
And
know.
that's a direct result of Carolina being in my life.
That's
Right.
awesome.
Yes, it
That's
is.
awesome.
You know, iron sharpens iron. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Romans 12, verse 10. So that tells us that, yes, you may be used to doing things your way, you know, and comfortable doing things the way you were raised to do it. But now you have someone in your life that is showing you that there are other ways, and not to say you have to do everything the way that they do it, but
Right.
as you just stated, it has enhanced you and helped you even with your own family, you know. So good job. I love that. And I like this verse right here too. The one that says, let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. So that brings me to the next question. Oh, I'm sorry. And that's Proverbs chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. How do you guys incorporate God into your union?
I gotta start it off. Okay.
She letting you lead.
Wow, that's a good thing.
Yeah, she letting you lead.
I will be transparent about it. It's been a journey. We've been learning how to come together to invite God into our relationship a lot more. I would say, like in the past five or so years, we've kind of had our own relationship with God.
Right.
Especially me. I've been on a journey to learn about God and really establish a relationship. So I will say that I've kind of been selfish initially when it came to God. I would pray pretty much by myself. I would fast by myself. I would do all these things. And now we're starting to learn to, wake up together, pray together. She's very good at stopping me before I go get on my computer and get busy and say, hey, we need to pray. We need to go do our Bible verse of the day. We need to go and we're doing Psalm. So we kind of slipped on that a little bit, but we were reading a chapter of Psalms a day. We've been praying together. Instead of arguing all the time, we would pray during in the morning so that we could cover any type of argument before we get there.
Cover the mischief.
It works better.
Absolutely.
We were intentionally taking notes at church, bringing it home, and then applying it.
Discuss and apply, right.
So, if she gets upset or something like that, I'm like, babe, remember what they said at church, regain composure or whatever lesson we learned at that time.
Right.
And it kind of helped us argue less. We're very good at arguing. Both of us I would say we're very good at debating between each other. And, we're both strong-minded and we were independent so long that it's just like trying to put everything together was hard doing it without God. But now that we're starting to actually pray and think about it together and ask God to put it together for us, we've seen, better results, I would say. What do you think?
And don't you think that it also helps you to calm the situation better?
For sure.
Because before you just want to be heard or feel like your point has to be made, So now you're always going to have disagreements or differences in things. You're man, I'm woman, and we were raised how we were raised, and you're just who you are as individuals. So you're not going to 100% agree on every single thing, but knowing how to calm that instead of the rah back and forth, because you never get anything solved that way. And then, that just makes the tension higher and higher and higher. So I will say, I know that just from us now having a better relationship with God, I see that that's been one of the ways that I know for a fact that we've been able to manage our disagreements or, arguments or misunderstandings, whichever word you want to use, instead of escalating it. You can calm it down by continuing to speak at a decent tone and not yell or talk at each other, and just asking God to give you the right choice words to speak, because you really have to think before you speak. And there were times when you weren't doing that. You would just, whatever came up or whatever you were feeling emotionally just came out.
Right.
So it really does make a difference when you have God planted in your life and in your relationship.
Totally agree. And that's the thing about being on this faith walk, right? It puts it all in perspective, right? Because before this faith walk, it was a lot of times that when she said something or did something I didn't like, I went straight off the top. You know what I'm saying? It was no thought. I reacted just like, you got me mad, I'm gonna say this. So now it's like she'll say something, do something. I'm mad, but I won't react that way. Like I'll go back, I'll go sit down and chill out a minute and be like, hold on, Kevin, just see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Just put it in perspective first. And then when you do that, well, at least when I do that, it calms me down. And it makes me have a clear conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going in like on the rah-rah. Right. I'm going in because I thought about what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? And before that faith walk, I would have never did that. I would have just still been doing all that. So yeah, so it makes a difference, man. And like y'all said, that's awesome. Y'all are praying together. That's one thing me and her don't do.
Right.
And that's one thing I even told Elder JP this. This is how long ago, and I hope she ain't watching.
She is watching.
I told her this when we was moving out the storage over there on Covington, and she asked me, "Do we pray together?" And I told her no. I was like, I do my prayers in the morning. I started doing that not too long ago. I do it in the morning, and I don't wake her up. I just do my own little thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I even told her, I said, I'm gonna talk to Tam about us praying together.
And you did.
And we just haven't did it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Waiting.
So, yeah, we just, okay, well, you getting up then. Okay, so that's awesome. So yeah, so that's encouraging to hear y'all say y'all doing that. Like,
it hasn't been going on that long.
But it started.
Yeah, y'all started.
It started, and that's another thing too that I have been trying to be intentional about in our relationship, because like Kevin said, I'm very independent, and I think being an only child had a lot to do with that as well, because it was just me and my mom, till I was 20 years old. So I was just used to just move, just doing what I had to do. By the time my little brother came around, I was gone. So then he grew up as if he was an only child, even though I had my brothers from my father. No one was in the house with me but my mother and I. So I was just used to just doing stuff, and thinking about telling him what's going on or letting him know what's going on after the fact or something, whatever. So I had to really, really, really adjust myself with that. So, yeah, it's been a journey, and we're definitely on this journey. And I thank Pastor Tony and Pastor E for that, because, having those outlets as leaders to talk to about these things, like, you don't really find a lot of people who attend churches that have that close connection to their leadership, So I think that has been very instrumental in our relationship, I can say, because she has helped me redirect some things and helped me talk me through some things and guided me through some things. And I know that Kevin and Pastor Tony have a very close and genuine relationship as well.
It's my dog.
So you guys want to say anything about how the church has, helped you guys in your relationship?
Pastor Tony and Pastor E are very open about their
relationship. Yeah. But it helped us be that.
So it's kind of just, we watch from afar and learn from afar. They don't really have to say too much to us because we are watching.
But that's good. The transparency is what's helping all of us.
Right.
Which is what we're just making a point of.
Yeah,
so the transparency that they have is definitely helping all of us, because you think that these are your pastors. There's no way they're going through any of these things. There's no way they're having arguments. There's no way he's getting on her nerves or she's getting on his nerves or whatever. Those are things that the media will trick you into thinking about pastors and leaders and things. So it's just so good to know that they are that transparent, and they want us to realize that they're on a journey just like we are.
Right.
So they're, here to help us while they're also helping themselves as well. So it's wonderful. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But I appreciate you guys for meeting us here today.
Yes.
It is a wonderful Wednesday.
Great Wednesday.
And we just want to thank everyone who had the opportunity to watch. And we hope that what we said tonight was able to help you all, or at least enlighten you some sort of way in your relationship, in your marriage. And anybody want to say anything else?
If you want to connect with us, get closer to us. Just, there'll be links at the bottom of the screen. It should be a lot of good images and numbers and emails down there. So whatever method you use to contact someone, we'll find a way to reach you.
Absolutely. If you send a text message to the number at the bottom of the screen, you will receive a link and you will be connected to the Closer as well as everything else. All right. Have a good evening.
Take care.
Bye-bye.